What do you see in the Ilia Topuria and Islam fight?
I'm being okay. All biases aside, all that stuff, I don't have any. I'm really gonna be
right. I'm
really not like you in this, not like you in this one. I'm really gonna be surprised if Topuria can stay with Islam. Now on the feet, he can stay with him. He's got very technical boxing, and his hands are tight, and Islam's gonna have a hard time hitting the target and being effective. But there's always a difference when you go up against somebody and you haven't faced someone that's got a specific style and the way they do things. And Islam doesn't wrestle the same as other guys. He uses a lot of foot sweeps. He does a lot of body locks to foot sweeps, and he's very, I don't want to say subtle with it, meaning he doesn't show you that it's coming. It's he off balances you. He leans you a certain way. He gets your foot stepping off, and here comes it. All of a sudden you're going out on your back. On the ground, I think Topuria is fantastic. I don't think he can stop what Islam does. Islam is just too technically sound, too strong, and just what he's good at, he goes to. And it's going to be difficult for Topuria to stop it. Size-wise, I'm sure Topuria will come in, he's going to be at the limit, but he's not going to be strength-wise the same. He can't match up to Islam at this point in time. Later on, maybe, not right now. So on the ground, he's going to have to work really hard to defend himself. So he's got, in my opinion, Topuria's got to keep it on the feet. He cannot allow this thing to get to the ground. If it goes to the ground, he's got to do everything within his power to get himself up right away. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't do that, it's going to be a long night for him.
Okay, so I would agree with you on a lot of what you said, but I guess people are expecting me to be biased right now. And normally I am. But in this situation, I have to be as real as possible. On the feet, it does scare me a little.
Yeah, it should.
And it has nothing to do with that I don't think Islam can stand with him. He can stand with him. But he'll have to be able to stand with him in that kicking range. Topuria likes to find himself inside the boxing range, which is fantastic. That's great for him.
And he goes to the body really well.
He does. What concerns me, though, is this, and by picking this apart over his last couple fights, is that when you get into that boxing range, not Ilia Topuria, what concerns me is with Islam. Every time someone's got into that boxing range, he's able to grab them. But what he does, he grabs them with that tie plum. And that, to me, scares me. It's been scaring me for the longest time. His chin's in the air, Topuria being the shorter in stature, the punches come over the top, right under the chin mark.
Right over the arm.
That's always concerned me. Doesn't matter who he was fighting. The last 3 or 4 fights, he's been doing that. And I don't recall him ever doing that before. He did a little bit in training when we used to train together, but there was a lot of reasons why he didn't do it with certain people, because like our knees and the way we work knees in the gym, a lot of guys got away from trying to do that tie plum because the knees are right there up the middle, or they're right off to the side hitting the body. I just look at where Topuria is at. He fights really well in a phone booth. He fights well in that small space, whether it's body, and then over the top. If you grab onto that tie plum in that body position and you start dropping the elbows and you leave your chin in the air, it's easy to get knocked out. It's easy to get caught and clipped. And with the power that Topuria has, that scares me. So that's the one thing that I see out of Topuria. Now in the boxing range, he can for sure catch Islam. I mean, that can be done with anybody.
Yep.
Topuria keeps very loyal with his hands. He's very, very tight with his defense, very defensive fighter, no wasted movements. He's fantastic, man. And I think a lot of people, I didn't give him enough credit when he fought Volkanovski. But in the second fight, when he fought Max, I said, man, he fought beautifully. He got hit with some big shots. He took them. The speed of Max, the reach of Max, all of those things. But he slowly started picking Max apart, started seeing the openings that Max was leaving, and then he started capitalizing on them. And what made it so beautiful was when Max would throw and stay long, he would slip his head offline and he would still slide in.
Slide his feet forward.
What you'll see is they'll make a miss, but then they're still out of range to make them pay. So it's easy to like slip my head offline and maybe take a little bit step to the right, but then I go to hit you and you're the longer fighter. I can't reach you. He slipped and he slid in at the same time and then was able to land the shot. And that's what's so impressive, and with Islam, he has a tendency sometimes to lunge in with the jab a little bit. And he's really good at getting his kick up there and bringing his kick back. But if you leave your hands out there too long, Topuria is going to slide in and cover that distance and touch you. And with his power, it can be lights out real quick. In terms of the ground, the wrestling scares me a little bit, only based on the fact that, look, I've wrestled my whole life, and wrestling smaller, shorter, stubbier guys like a Volk and like a Topuria, they're such a pain in the ass to hold down. That whole thing with mat return, you pick them up and take them down, they hit their knees and they bounce back up because they only got to stand up about 2 inches and they're back on their feet. That's exactly what
6 inches.
Like.
Yeah,
it's true. It's exactly what it's like. And so that scares me a little bit. Like, he may struggle to hold him down. He may struggle to, because it's hard when guys start pushing on the head. Well, they only got to clear 3 inches and their knees clear. Like their legs are not very long. And that's where Topuria is at right now. So those are all things that if you're a world-class fighter, if you're someone like Islam, you're going, okay, look, I've got things I've got to really take a look at and go like, hey, how am I going to get this guy down? Shooting double legs is going to be great because he can then lift and scoop and then take him down. Those are all fantastic. But when you take him down, you've got to make sure that you've got him tight wrapped around the butt or above the waist. You can't be taking him down by his knees, because as soon as you hit the ground, Topuria is going to push on the head, clear the knee, and now I got to work my way up the body. It's very difficult for the bigger, taller, longer guys to do that. So there's a lot of things that the Islam's going to have to work through in this camp to deal with Topuria. Very much how so he did in the first fight with Volk. Very similar problems he's going to have, except he's going to have more of a threat in the power and the boxing with Topuria. So this is going to be like, John, 2 weeks ago, I was sitting up here going, he should fight somebody to get in. But now we kind of have an idea that this fight's going to pretty much happen. I have to be honest with myself. This is probably I would say, only from based off of what we've seen, it's the most dangerous fight for Islam in this weight class. Until you get to, I can't even imagine like who else. I mean, anybody else in this weight class? Not really. There's nobody else really in this weight class that I look at. I go, hey, is going to give Islam Arman. Yeah. Arman, but then they really, what it comes down to is, it's not even so much dangerous. Arman to me is not extremely dangerous for them. It just, they're an evenly matched fight. Topuria is dangerous.
Yeah.
Arman's got power in his hands, but he's wild with his strength.
He's not as
technical. He makes a lot more mistakes. He tries to use his athleticism to get himself out of mistakes and his strength and his ability. Yeah. Topuria doesn't leave himself out of position. Topuria, he's very technical. He stays tight with his defense, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he's going to capitalize on the mistakes that you make. A high fight IQ, very confident in what he can do. And it makes for a fun fight, man. It makes for a really good fun fight. In the clinch is what concerns me because of the chin up and the tie plum. That's one. Two is in the body lock. It's going to be harder for him to get to the body lock because he's going to have to reach down by his knees to get to the body lock on Topuria. So he's you know what I mean? So, where he will have some advantage is when he does get the over under, the foot sweeps, the inside trips, the lifting with the knee, as they like to do when they get the body lock, lift with the knee at the crotch and then take him down that way. Yeah. Those things he'll have success with. If he's able to snatch the single, elevate, because he's going to be a lot taller, he'll be able to lift, and that'll take Topuria off balance. Then he can foot sweep and get to the back position. So I like it. I like the fight for Islam, but there are some things that I've really in my mind been playing over. Okay, you got to avoid this. Try not to do this too much. And
so now here's the real question. Last one for you. Colby Covington, why in the world is he hanging out with Neon?
Is Neon the one that sparred Sean Strickland?
No, he's the one that ran from Nate Diaz when he did the whole.
He's the little guy with the glasses.
The way he's got these
really
glasses, yeah.
Who's the one that sparred with Sean Strickland?
Sneeko.
Okay. I got a little bit more respect for Sneeko.
Oh, total respect.
Yeah. Took his ass. He actually took his ass whooping, bro.
Oh yeah,
and he delivered a couple shots too. I was like, okay, boy.
Strickland let him go for about 2.5 minutes, then said,
but "Good on him."
Oh, okay.
Thank God for Forrest Griffin.
Yeah, right.
the only one with common sense,
right? But yeah, exactly. Who would have thought one day we'd be saying that about
exactly?
Forrest?
And if you knew Forrest, you go, that's impressive.
That is. This episode is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you guys YouTube 150 for the promo code. Also, Element, use the link in the descriptions down below. Any product you buy from there, they will send you a bonus package of product if you use our link down below. Element's amazing, man. I love it. And I want to say thank you, man. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support us.